The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 2. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to start off as always by giving all praise, all honor, all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and who rule well, who taught us this truth through the power and spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the elect out there, whoever you might be. Shalom to the 144,000. It's the brother Amawam Padah from the GMS Denver camp, coming at you with another lesson. And this was going to be on the topic of being in the house of mourning, okay? Rather than being in the spirit of the world, man. The spirit of the world is in the house of mirth and feasting, you know what I mean? They're always looking, to have a good time. Well, when you come into this truth, you come into the house of mourning, meaning, you understand the reality of the situation that we're in as a people. Are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Indians, are the Israelites, and we're being oppressed. The main oppressor being Esau, Edom, the so-called white race. Okay, because they're not white, they're the Edomites. All right, white is a made-up term, and that they made up, to hide themselves. They're really of the nation of Edom, who the Lord hates, man. And when you come into this truth, you realize that we are being oppressed, and you realize that this world we live in is extremely wicked, and it's perverse, and it's against the ways of life, man, the ways of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So you begin to be in the house of mourning, man. You begin to cry out to the Lord to come back and to restore the order. All right. You realize that we're under the curses spoken of in Deuteronomy, chapter 28. Okay. So that's why when you come into the understanding of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, when you come out of that pagan Christian church, which teaches you nothing but lies, and the spirit of the Lord is not dealing with the Christian church, when you come into the real truth, you enter into the house of mourning, man. And it's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? It's not a bad thing, because we're in a wicked world. You shouldn't be having so much damn fun in a world that's being ran in wickedness. Okay, let's go on to the next verse. It says, sorrow is better. Matter of fact, Salaki, let me go back to the verse 2. Now it says, for this is the end of all men, and the living, all right, the living meaning those who are in the truth, those who have the breath of life, the understanding of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You're no longer spiritually dead, in that spiritually dead state, like the rest of the world, man. The scriptures call them the congregation of the dead, because when you wander out of the way of the understanding of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, you are in the congregation of the spiritually dead out here, and that's these people that you see in the world. Okay, so they're in that party, spirit and whatnot, always looking for the next good time and whatnot, not really paying attention to what's going on, man. Their mind is not focused on the prophecies and the Lord ending this society. They're not trying to get themselves right with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, that's why they're of the congregation of the dead, spiritually, soon to be physically dead when the judgment of the Lord is poured out. Okay. And we're in that time of judgment. Okay, and that's not to say you can't have a good time. Don't get it twisted. We're not saying that you got to sit in the corner all damn day in a dark room and not do nothing. We're not saying that, but we're not in the spirit of the world, man. They're all about pleasing the flesh and having a good time. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. We are in the house of mourning, because even when we, go out and do things to try to enjoy ourselves, you got to have balance. Even then, there's mourning involved in that. We go out with the brothers and whatnot, we go out to a restaurant or go to, a venue or whatever, we're kicking back, but at the same time, we're criticizing all the bullshit that's going on around us. You're out there kicking it, and then you see homosexuals walking past you and, women, in that adulterous spirit, and you start complaining, in the spirit, man. We start having those spiritual conversations, even when we're out, quote unquote, having fun, because we're in the house of mourning. All right. Unlike the rest of the world. So let's go on to the next verse. It says, sorrow is better than laughter, For by the sadness of the countenance, the heart is made better. And the heart is your mind. All right. It's good to be in a serious state, because when you're in a house of mourning, you're in a serious vibration. You're analyzing things. You're not in that folly spirit. All right. You're not in that head in the cloud spirit like the rest of these people. You're not, out here being goofy and shit, not discerning the time. We out here looking and seeing what's going on in the earth and relating it back to prophecy. We know that the Lord is pissed off with this place, and he's getting ready to bring the judgment written. All right. You see famine, plague, pestilence, war, destruction, those things are coming. So what mind state should you be in? It's better to be in the house of mourning, man. All right. It makes your mind better. It keeps you alert. Verse 4 says, the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. And mirth means like that happy-go-lucky spirit. Matter of fact, let's get the definition of that word mirth really quick. All right. But if you're wise, you're not going to be in the house of partying and, trying to make it in this society. You know what I'm saying? Let's get that word mirth real quick. All right, so here we have it pulled up in the Blue Letter Bible, Ecclesiastes 7:4. We're going to get it in the Hebrew. All right, that word, all right, mirth. Okay, here it is.
Strong's H 8057. Simcha. Simcha.
Okay, now it says joy, mirth, gladness. I hate when they use the same word to define the word that you're trying to understand. All right, mirth, gladness, joy, gaiety, pleasure. All right, glad result, happy issue. All right, so pretty much, that party spirit, man. You see, festivity. Okay, that's what it's really going into. Let's check this out. Now it says, especially joyful voices, joyful cries. Joyful banquets, pleasures, loving pleasures. All right. And that's what these people are into, man. The majority of the world, they're into pleasing the flesh, man. And that comes with partying and, doing whatever, anything outside of trying to get into the good graces of the power that's getting ready to judge the earth. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right. They're heading the clouds. You know what I'm saying? That's not us. We're in the house of mourning. We have fear of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay? We fear the Lord, man. And the elder Apostle Kabar just did a lesson. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull up his video real quick, because he was kind of going into this a little bit. So here's the video right here from the elder Apostle Kabar. You can see his channel right there, Daily Edification 4. All right, go ahead and subscribe and watch to be edified from the elder apostle. All right. Now, the title of his video says, Fresh from the Fresh and Fit, all right, podcast, says this life is over. The most important thing is getting closer to God, or the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Okay, this life is over, man. You seen the picture right here, all these men, looking at these women with their legs spread open. That's the majority of these people out here chasing the box, you know what I'm saying, chasing carnal things. This shit is over, man. And that's just the truth, People are out there still trying to find that, mirth spirit. They're trying to revive, that party spirit, man. This shit is over, man. The Lord is bringing this thing to an end, okay? And it's a good thing, man, because it needs to come to an end. The most important thing to be doing right now is seeking the Lord, man. Sitting the hell down and seeking Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Like I said, it's not to say that you can't just go out and have a good time every now and then, but the majority of your time should be, being serious minded, man, knowing what time we're in. This society is done, man. You get ready to see civil war, martial law. You get ready to see a lot of violence, okay, and a lot of people being judged. All right, fuck this world, man. Okay, pardon my French, but that's how you got to be. All right, more and more as we get closer to the end of the society and the return of our Lord Yahweh Shai. But yeah, man, the guy right here on the screen, okay, on that picture right there with the headphones, that's fit from that, or fresh from that podcast. And he was quoting Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 13. All right, even he was saying it, man. So let's get that real quick. You can watch the video, in your own time. It's an edifying video from the elder apostle Gabar. So go ahead, check that out when you got time. But let's get what he quoted. All right, this guy on the podcast quoted the scriptures, man, showing you that, man, the Spirit of the Lord is covering the earth, man. All right, the vibration of Yahweh Shem Shai is covering the earth. Okay, so here we have the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 13. And this is King Solomon. All right, he says, "Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High." All right, Yahweh Shem Shai, and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. And if you know, this is one of my favorites as well, man. I got a lot of favorite scriptures, but this is one of them. All right, it's simple and to the point, man. It says, what's the big deal of life? Why are we here? We're here to fear Yahweh Shem Shai, meaning having that deep respect and reverence for our Creator, and to be obedient unto him and his ways, keeping his commandments. That's how things function. All right, that's the big deal here, man. Because the guy that we were talking about, fresh from that podcast, he was saying, look, man, I done had all the cars, the best parties, pretty much, the money and all that stuff, because he's successful in this life. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, he said, shit, it really don't mean shit. It really don't mean nothing, man. It's all, spiritually unfulfilling. Your fulfillment is going to come from, the spirit, man, serving Yahweh Shem Shai. And when you realize that, it kind of gives you sorrow, because you were told in this life that you're supposed to chase the bag, you're supposed to be successful and do all these things, in the world and in society. But that's not even the main point of why we're here on the earth. We're not here to do all that, man. All right, there's nothing wrong with having things, but our main goal is to what? To fear Yahweh Shem Shai and keep his commandments, not being out here, in the vibration of the rest of the world, that party atmosphere, that YOLO type of vibration. Okay. And just to clarify as well, when it says fear the Lord and keep his commandments, or fear the Most High and keep his commandments, all right, of course we fear the Lord, man. We don't want no problems with Yahweh Shem Shai. And we understand that we can't keep the law in its entirety. I've done lessons on this, so that's not what this is talking about. All right, it's talking about, following his son Yahweh Shai, because the Most High Yahweh commanded us to follow his son Yahweh Shai. So that's the main commandment right there. And we keep the law to the best of our abilities, but we're covered by Yahweh Shai. Or we are to follow the Lamb. That's what this life is about, man. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on. Getting off on a little tangent, but I want to make that point. All right, so I want to bring this out too. This is Micah chapter 2 and verse 10. And it says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction." This current society, this current setup is not our rest. We're not in the kingdom. That's when we're going to be able to rest and be at peace. All right, and be able to be happy and in that mirth spirit, we're going to celebrate in the kingdom, man, on a level that we can't even comprehend down here. All right, in this current society. All right. But yeah, when you're enjoying yourself too much in this world, it's going to destroy you, man, because it's all corrupt. You see, and that could bring sorrow to your mind. All right. But it is what it is. It is better to be that way. Pretty much abstaining from the activities of the rest of the world. We get in and we get out, man. And the majority of us, we pretty much to ourselves, man. When we're not at camp with brothers or fellowshipping with brothers, we are to ourselves, man. We're not out here in the world trying to mingle and mix it with the world like that, man. We understand the judgment that's coming for them. All right. And when you do too much of partaking in the ways of the world, you begin to corrupt yourself. All right. And you're leading, towards your own destruction. The Lord called us to be separate, man. Okay. And sometimes that could be a heavy thing to understand. You see the rest of the world having fun and, and all this shit, man. They don't know what's coming for them, man. We're in the house of mourning, and we're cool with that. That's the best place to be. Okay, so here we have the Lord Yahweh Shai speaking right here in the red letter, right, who they ignorantly call Jesus. His true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shai. And he says right here in John 17 verse 14, I have given them thy word, and the world hath hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Yeah, Yahweh Shai, he's not of this world, neither are his elect. Meaning we're not of this society. We're not supposed to be adhering to the ideologies and philosophies of the ways of this world. All right, which is perverse. We're separate, man. Our spirits are different from these people in the world, man. Yeah, the elect are different from the 2/3, man, of our people who are rebellious. Okay, we have a different spirit on us. We have the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So we're opposite of, I'm gonna say, we are. We're opposite of the ways of the world, man. We oppose the ways of this current society. All right, and that's why they hate us. The majority of people dislike you because of the spirit that you have. They don't even have to know you. All right, just the way you move and how you think and operate. All right, because you're being molded in the image of Yahweh Shai, and they hated Yahweh Shai when he was here, because he is not of this world, man. Neither are we. And that could be a sorrowful thing at first, but you come to accept it, and really you come to rejoice over it. All right, because these people out here, they man, these people of the world, they cooked, man. They're cooked, and we're being preserved unto salvation. Now it goes on to say, verse 15, Yahweh Shai says, I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world, but that thou shouldest keep them from the evil. And that's what we want. Yahweh Shai prayed for the elect, man. He prayed to the Heavenly Father that he preserve us, man. And that's what we doing here right now. That's what we're doing here right now. Doing the works of the Lord as we've been commanded to do, in hopes of salvation, man. In hopes of being kept from the evil that's getting ready to engulf this earth, man. Verse 16, Yahweh Shai says, they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Okay, and there it is. All right, so when you come into this truth, you can expect to be ostracized from, family. All right, certain friends and acquaintances that you had in the world. And the majority of people on the planet, man, they're not going to fuck with you like that, man. Because we're not of this world, just like our Lord Yahweh Shai was not of this world. Okay. Yahweh Shai came to reprove and rebuke. And that's what we're doing. Okay. We're condemning this current world, this current society. And that comes with hate, from these people. Now I want to bring this out right here. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse 1. All right. It says, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak unto the house of Israel. All right, that roll being the scriptures. All right, a roll or a scroll. Okay. It says, so I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. Now, this is a similitude, okay, a vision, or however you want to say it, in which the angel was giving the understanding of the scriptures unto the prophet Ezekiel. And you eat the scriptures spiritually, man. All right, not literally eating the pages of the Bible, man. All right, this is you consuming the truth with your mind. Okay, so it says, I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. All right, verse 3, and he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat. Your belly being your mind. All right, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness. So that's what it's like when you come into this truth. You're excited to be an Israelite, to know that you're one of the 12 respected tribes of the nation of Israel, the Lord's chosen people. You want to tell everybody, you're excited, man. And you should be, right? That's part of that sweetness, man. Knowing that the Lord Yahweh Shai, he's one of your people. All right. Knowing that the God of all energy and existence is dealing with us, that makes you excited, right? Verse 4, and he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them. Okay. 1 second. All right. So Salakia, continuing on in Ezekiel 3. Okay. the Lord commanded, Ezekiel to go speak unto the Israelites, man, and give them the understanding of the prophecies and the will of the Lord, right? Verse 5, it says, "For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of a hard language, but to the house of Israel." So the Lord's like, look, man, I'm not sending you to a foreign nation, to where you can't understand the language. I'm going to tell you to go speak to your own people. And that's the lot that the prophets are in these last days. The ones that you see, on the highways and hedges, preaching his word. We're speaking to the nation of Israel, right? Verse 6, "Not too many people of a strange speech and of an hard language, whose words thou canst not understand. Surely had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee." So the Lord is saying, man, look, if I would have sent you to these heathen, with the message of, say, for example, if the Lord would have sent Ezekiel to go tell the heathen that they're, the chosen people, they would listen. But he says, because I'm sending you to the Israelites, you're going to realize that they hard-headed and stiff-necked. It's going to be a challenge. Now, verse 6, verse 7, it says, "But the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me. For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted." You see? And that's part of, coming into this thing of ours, this truth, because you realize, that the majority of our people don't want to hear the truth, man. They oppose it. You see? And that's part of that bitterness, man. When you start coming into the truth, you're excited, but then you start realizing that, damn, this world is fucked up, and the majority of our people are fucked up too. That's why you see these Christians making TikTok videos left and right, trying to talk shit against the Hebrew Israelites. All right. That's going to lead to the persecution. It's going to add to the persecution as well, man. 2/3 going to join in on the persecution. They're going to, try to condemn us, man, our own people. All right. Of course, the Lord's going to justify us, but that's part of that bitterness, man. And that's why we're in the house of mourning. We're not out here with our head in the clouds, man. We understand what's coming. We're getting our minds ready. We're preparing our spirits, man, to endure what's coming. So I'm going to get ready to wrap this thing up. I want to bring this out, though. This is Revelation 10 and verse 7. This is, the Apostle John. All right. It says, "But in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of the Most High should be finished. And he hath declared this, and he hath declared to his servants the prophets." Okay. "And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again, and said, Go and take the little book, which is open in the hand of the angel, which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth." And that book is the Bible, man, the scriptures. Okay. "And I went unto the angel and said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said unto me, Take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey." All right. So that's, synonymous to Ezekiel, right? The same thing was told unto, the Apostle John when it comes to understanding these scriptures, man. When you consume this book, all right, with your mind, because this is the bread of life, Scriptures refer to this as living waters, the oil, all right, bread. You see, when you eat it, when you consume it with your mind, right, it tastes good in your mouth, you know what I'm saying? But when you really digest this truth, it kind of makes you better, man. You taste that bitterness. All right. You start understanding that the world is against this truth. You understand that, we're going to be sought to be murdered because of this truth, man. Just like, Yahushua and the disciples. That's part of that bitterness, but it makes you better. It makes you grow in the understanding of Yahushua. All right. We're not out here like these happy-go-lucky Israelites, man. These party Israelites that are on camera, recording, different activities and shit that have nothing to do with preparing for the time we're coming into. See, we're taking on them bitter herbs right now, and certain herbs like garlic, for example, are bitter, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it's strengthening your immune system. There's benefits to eating those bitter herbs. All right, you got to eat, the sweet and the bitter. You got to take it all in. And that's what we do here at Great Millstone. We give you the good, the bad, and the ugly to prepare you for the time we're coming into. It ain't all, about, having fun. And nah, man, this is about preparing for the time we're coming into, man, known as Jacob's trouble. Preparing for that hour of temptation in which they're going to make the mark of the beast, the RFID microchip, mandatory to buy and sell in society. You see? We're focused on making it through and enduring it to the end and overcoming these things. That's part of that bitterness, man. Seeing your family members taking that RFID microchip to be destroyed. It says a man's foe shall be there of his own household. That's going to be happening. Your family turning against you. That's all part of this truth. But it makes you better knowing that. So it won't be a shock to you when it comes. All right, Revelation 10 verse 10. It says, and I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up. And it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. All right, there you go. This book is full of lamentations, mournings, and woes, man. All right. This is a very heavy book, man, the Bible. All right. And matter of fact, let's get a precept on that. Hold on. All right. Here we have Ezekiel chapter 2. I'm going to start at verse 8. Now it says, but thou, son of man, hear what I say unto thee. Be not thou rebellious like that rebellious house. All right. The house of mirth. All right. We're in the house of mourning. All right. Open thy mouth and eat that I give thee. You see? Verse 9. And when I looked, behold, an hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein. Verse 10, it says, and he spread it before me, and it was written within and without, and there was written and there was written therein lamentations and mourning and woe. All right, let's get the definition of these words right here, because this is very heavy. This is part of that bitterness, man. All right, it's talking about the Bible. Okay, lamentations, mourning, and woe. Let's get that those definitions. All right, so here we have the word lament. All right, that's where the word lamentation come from. All right, it says to express grief for or about, mourn. All right, to lament someone's death. It says to regret deeply, deplore, to grieve audibly, wail. All right, and the scripture said that the book is full of these, man, lamentations. All right. Different dark accounts, man, prophecy of dark times, It's not all about being in that happy-go-lucky spirit, though we do have joy in the Lord. All right. That's where our joy comes from, knowing that we have a Savior. All right, knowing that we can connect to our power. Other than that, man, this world is horrible, man. So we're lamenting now, waiting for the Lord patiently. All right, here's that word mourn. It says to feel, express grief or sorrow. All right, grieve. To show grief for a death by conventional signs is by wearing black clothes to make a low, indistinct, mournful sound. Okay, there you go. You get the point, man. Now here's that word for woe. All right, it says sorrow or grief, misery, misfortune, or wretchedness, a cause of sorrow or misery, misfortune. And that's what the Bible is full of, man. All right. That's what it's full of. Okay. And this is part of that bitter that we have to ingest and really fully understand so that we can be, fully balanced in this thing of ours, man. The Lord is all about balance. Okay. So yeah, that's the point right there on Ezekiel 2 and 10. You get the picture, man. All right. You got to understand that some of us might even be put to death for believing in Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay, you see, we have not yet resisted unto blood, as the scriptures tell us, man, fighting against sin. All right, this world is so damn wicked. It's going to come to the point we're going to have to, come to blows with people at some point in time when they come up against us. Esau going to be sent in against the prophets, man. Isaiah 59 verse 19. All right, so we're not in that party spirit like that, man. Okay. All right, I got to get this one, man. One of my favorites, man. A wise quote from King Solomon. All right, Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 18. And it says, for in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. So there you go, man. The more you understand what's really going on. The more the Lord increases your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, the more sorrowful you should become in in this society, because you see the way it's supposed to be ran, and it's not being ran in the proper way. People are not in the right mindset. People are completely engulfed in wickedness, and it brings you sorrow. All right, you see. But on the flip side, you're increasing spiritually, so it's a good thing. All right. Like I said, you're not supposed to be out, just sitting around in a dark corner being depressed all damn day. Nah, the Lord gives us joy. Let's prove that real quick. We got a couple of more. We're going to close it up. But this is John chapter 16 and verse 33. Lord Yahweh speaking. It says, "These things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace." All right. "In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world." That's right, man. In the world, we going to have tribulation. In this society, we're going to have tribulation. We're going to be vexed every damn day, witnessing the wickedness, witnessing the perverseness of this world that we live in. But in the Lord, we have peace, man. When we come into this truth, when we watch the videos of the brothers, when we sit down and read the scriptures, all right, when we are in the spiritual, vibration, the vibration of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, we have peace, though we're in hell. Okay. So yeah, man, it's not all bad, we get joy, with the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Now I got one more to land back on that point. We're going to close it. And this is right here. This is one of my favorites too. Like I said, I got a lot of favorites, and this is one of them. Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 3. "Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee." That's right. Though we're in this wicked world and we're going through different things in this life, there's the difficulties of life under the curses and whatnot, we have peace in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai when our mind is stayed on him. The promises of the end of this world, man, the promises of the kingdom being established, a righteous rulership underneath the second covenant, Israel being put back on top, man. When I say Israel, I'm talking about the true Israelites, Yasharallah. Okay. When we're focusing on these things, it keeps our mind at peace while we're going through the different lamentations, mournings, and woes. So that's the balance right there, man. Okay. Our peace does not come from this world. Our peace comes from Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Our fulfillment comes from Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So that's what helps us get through the bullshit, man. All right. Just keeping it real. So hopefully this was edifying to the elect out there, whoever you might be. And hopefully you were exhorted and you got a deeper understanding on the reality of the situation. Okay. We're not out here to be partying with the world and things like that. Our peace comes from Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And when he returns, then we're going to be able to enjoy ourselves and be at rest. So buckle down. Things are about to get crazy out here. All right. Get ready for the bitterness, man. It's going to be challenging, but we're going to be victorious through Yahweh Shai, man. Lord willing, we're the elect. So, man, this lesson right here, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach and who rule well, who taught us this truth through the power and spirit of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, at Kwam Yasharallah, and abide for Baal. Shalom.